Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is the monthly report for May of 2025. And with me on the line, I have my partner in crime, the one and only Brett Geddes. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you once again, Deethy. This is round five, so good. And I think things are so busy at the moment, almost thinking at this time of year, we nearly need to have two a month, bi monthly. There's been a lot going on. I've got so much to get through. Before I go into that, you tell me what you've got for today.
Mate, okay. So I'm going to run around the country and I'm going to tell you what's going on. Now, it's a big month with some of the more exciting things happening. So I'll run round through that. I'll give you a bit of an idea of what went on at Foster.
Good.
I'll tell you about my squid expedition, which will be quite
Oh,
short.
okay.
And I've got a couple of giveaways. So that's pretty
Have you?
exciting. And a whole
Right.
heap to get through. So we've got the new challenge out of the collective to have a bit of a chat about. I think we're going to spill the beans on that one.
Yeah, that was a great chat last night, which will be last week when this goes to air. But yeah,
Yeah.
great. It's cheap. You got to get involved in that collective. It's fantastic last night. I didn't want you to end it. It was great.
I had to go to bed. Anyway, what about yourself, mate?
Oh, geez, I've got some stuff to get through. Off the top of the list, let's go back to the start of the month of April. I've got to talk baby vibe. Oh wow. A good buddy of Rick Formica, we swapped over. I gave him the Twitch 40s and he said, Brett, here's some baby vibes I've got off Adam. I think he bought a pack of 10. And I think it's the Mussel one, the black one with the goldy, bronzy belly on it. You'll verify that for me later. So I've got that. Big numbers on that lure, by the way. I want to talk about BEM and how it's recently opened. And Beth Harris. I've got to talk about Beth. Let's bust that one open quickly. Double rig,
Aha.
two lures on one setup. Classic. You go.
Wow.
We'll open that
Wow.
up later. Yeah, it's grouse. I'm going to talk a bit about, go back to the collective. We've got a challenge there, and I did that today, but I struggled.
Okay.
It's not all good news. I'll leave that for later. And what else have I got? Yeah, that nearly might do it. A little bit about China. I talked to Tony Petty today, so I'll briefly bring that up. We were talking, he was on the road, I was on the road, so it was a brief conversation, but a little bit of news about that as well.
Right. All right. Well, mate, what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll the intros and then we'll get right into it. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here is your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. So for the month of May, and this is not in date order because I didn't organize it that way. What we have is the Hobies. They're up at Lake Macquarie. So they haven't been up there for a little while. This will be round 4. It'll be in late May, 24th and 25th, launching out of the Belmont Lakeside Holiday Park, which I don't think I've launched from that location. The other thing of note is the Vic Brim out of Malakuta, they got washed out. So while it's not technically in, or it's not at all in May, that's been moved to September, I believe, 13th and 14th of September. So that should be pretty good anyway. Queensland Team Series, they have a Interclub Club Challenge for May. It's scheduled for May, but the exact dates haven't been announced, as best I can tell. Action Fishing Tournament. So this is one of the local ones for me. They're up at Tuggerah Lakes this coming weekend on the 10th of May. East Coast Bream Series on the 18th of May. They're at Lake Macquarie. So that will be a clash, I think, for the pre-fish band for the Hobies. So something to watch out for there. Now, the big ones. This is the big ones for this month. We've got the ABT on the 3rd and 4th of May on the Hawkesbury River. So all the podcasts I've done, Hawkesbury River always ranks. It always ranks, always gets lots of listens, catch big fish, lose a lot of big fish. Pretty exciting.
A lot of contestants. Is it a big?
Yeah, it'll be, I don't know exactly what numbers they get, but it's
Okay.
always well contested. They often get foul weather too. So it's looking pretty good for that too. And then as this show comes to, this will come out on Tuesday. So today they will be starting the Australian Open on Sydney Harbour. So that runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And mate, they're going to have a special guest there, a special guest commentating.
Would that happen to be Deeth?
It could be. It could be. And partner in crime will be Tom Slater. I don't think I'll be there for the Tuesday, but probably, which will be today. But for the Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be there for that, which is awesome.
Fantastic. Good job.
It's one of the things, one of the tournaments that I've really enjoyed. I haven't been part of it as such, but to go and watch it and see what's going on. I've been observer at least twice, maybe 3 times.
Okay.
And what that is for anyone that doesn't know is the boats go out, one fisherman per boat, and they'll allocate observers that are available to the anglers, and particularly the anglers that are ranked highly.
Okay.
They will send you out and you get to go around and watch. And I think there's a couple of things you've got to do, maybe take some photos and bits and pieces, but really, really good way to learn.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go out with Tom Slater, and that was an eye-opener, just the way he fished and the way he went about things. And then I've also been out with Steve Morgan up on the Hawkesbury.
Yeah, that'd be a wow factor job. That
Mate. Yeah, going out with Steve Morgan. And I did learn
yeah.
something that day.
Yeah.
I learned that I can't back a trailer.
Because normally you don't have to.
I don't have to. My
No.
kite goes in the back of the van.
Yeah.
And I was totally not up for it.
Okay.
So I did have a crack, but I basically put the trailer sideways on the ramp, and Jason Harlock said, "Mate, do you want me to do it for you?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah. High
But
five.
I could drive it. I did drive it out. Like I actually drove out. So that was pretty good. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Now,
Good
mate,
job.
the other thing in terms of competitions is since we spoke, we had Foster. Now, as I love Foster, it's just one of those places where you get to wrestle with massive brim potentially, and you get smashed and you lose fish.
Got tidal flow. You've got
Yep.
a lot of deep water, a lot of variables.
Yeah, and look, they got the tides, I think, spot on. Like we got a push up with a tide and a push back. Can't get better than that. They had some rain leading into it, and it was such the water runs so hard in that place that you'd have bits of the tide where it was crystal clear, absolutely pristine, and then it'd come down dirty.
Yeah.
And
that'd be on the surface though, I bet.
yeah,
Fresh
maybe.
on top of salt, maybe.
Maybe. Bradley Sissons of Hobie took some photos of me in the kayak, which is on the Hobie page, and it looks like I'm floating. Like it looks like I'm floating in air. You've got the shadow underneath. Like it's just amazing photos.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we did an interview on the water, which was good. Although I couldn't catch a fish. I missed a couple of big long tom, which would have been no good for the brim comp, but fun.
Ooh, toothy critters. Yep.
Toothy, dangerous little fellows. Yeah. What I did want to mention is the top 3. So we had Luke Rogan, Jack Gammy, and Ryan Honeybrook. Now, what's special about that is Luke Rogan backing it up 2 years in a row.
Tough gig. Yep.
Yeah. Essentially doing the same thing, but with a couple of twists, which will come out in the episode. That was pretty cool. And the last, and aside from the fact that I only got small fish, I think I got a bit of a rev up from you on the Saturday night. I only got 870 for my 3 fish.
I said, lift your game. I was onto it.
You did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And then I lift my game a little bit on the Sunday. It felt much bigger, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Pat Byrne from the collective, first in the Masters. How good is that?
Yeah, grouse is that. The collective are all going. We've had wins in the Gippy Lakes and there's Bem River and and they're all up there and wow. Good signs.
So there you go. So that's what's going on in the sort of tournament world at the moment. Mate, I'm going to throw to you.
There's one thing I did forget to mention. I'm going to quickly talk about our famous YouTuber now, I'm calling him. Nev's Fishing.
Yes.
Nev's. Now, there's a little story. Let me just bear with me. I was heading off on a day out with a good buddy, Haver, and so I took off from home in Sale, and I'm driving down the road, and behind me, as I get a bit, probably 10 k's down the road, at a T intersection, I see behind me there's a vehicle with a kayak on top, and I'm thinking, I'll know that person. What's going on with that? And then they were right up my ginger, and I was driving along. I'm thinking, I reckon that's Nev. So I pulled over, and that vehicle pulled up behind me. So, yep, they know me. Is it Nev? So I jumped out, and there's Nev staring at me. He said, Geddes, where are you going? I said, never you mind. Where are you going? He says, I'm off to Hollands. I said, I've got a little errand before I get there, but I could be there about 10 a.m. Okay, so you're going to Hollands. Well, what I want you to do is to put in the ramp, go here, go there, and then after that, do this, do that, and do that. For those who haven't already seen it, and I'm sure most have, Deethy, have you seen it? Have you?
I have seen it, mate. I've seen it. I saw the pink paddle tail.
Yeah, he's using a pink lure, 3.5 inch, I think.
I'm not sure.
I think I can't remember what even breed it is. Anyway, I said, Nev, go do this, do that. So he did that. And the video on YouTube doesn't give it justice to what he did. He's edited it and spliced it and made a big. It didn't do it justice because he went where I told him to launch. He went straight across. He had 3 casts, and the first fish went 46 brim. Then I think he had a blank. Second cast, third cast, 44 brim.
Wow.
And he's texting me this info while I'm on the water. And so I'm thinking, go me, great guide, but not really, because he's put on a lure I don't think I could ever imagine. And so he didn't brain him that day, but for anyone to turn up at Holland's their first trip, it can be a daunting ask. As you've talked to so many anglers now, Deethy, they've told you so many that it can flow hard and you can lose lures. You got to fish heavy to get through the structure. And oh no, Nev turns up, puts the GoPros on. He's got 2 or 3 going, and he says, "Oh, I think this is a pretty good brim." Yeah, that one went 46.
That's right. That's a trophy fish.
Oh, he's a legend. So
yeah.
I won't go on too much more about that, only to say, because I want everyone to go and watch it. This is a thing. And he moved on from that. The second place I told him to go to, he did, and he just caught a mountain of perch and more big brim, like to 45. I said he is the truck driver of brim now. I think my mantle's been wrestled from me.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk just a little bit about that video. A couple of things that I liked. Yeah. First of all, he's got this monster brim on. I think it was the first one. I could be wrong. Yeah. And he's doing his thing, and he gets the net out, and he goes, the net's stuck. It's stuck.
That's
and
right.
So, I'll just lift it in.
He couldn't. That's
right. He just reaches over and cradles it in. And for us competition anglers, you're like, that's a winning fish. Anyway, so he did that. I also like the way he climbs over the back of his kayak to get in so he doesn't get his feet wet.
Yeah, well, he's about 30 years younger than us, so.
Yeah, something like that.
Plus.
Something like that. But yeah, look, that was a really good video. I really enjoyed that.
What I love about Nev is that he's got this cool sort of persona. There's no hyping it up. If anything, he probably understates things a little, but that's just his demeanour.
Yeah.
Like he got in his second spot I'd send him to, he got a 45 and he says, that's pretty good brim. Might not be as big as the other one, but I'll tell you what, it could be.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, one of the other things I like through watching his other videos, because he's got some cracking videos.
Yeah.
Is the cardigans, mate. What's going on with the cardigans?
Oh, he's got his favourite jumper. Don't ever bring the jumper up. It's got holes in it, and
that's it.
It must be old and manky by now, and he loves it.
And you do this, and then that's how you get your flathead.
Like good one.
An 80-centimeter flathead, and you put your hand in his mouth. You go, it's biting pretty hard.
Oh, he's a legend. And I still maintain, I'm a perch and bream and a flathead angler, but I still reckon some of his The snapper stuff he's done on YouTube is way next level. He's got like a 80 centimeter snapper on one rod and another one, and there's one in the net that's been sitting there for 6 minutes to try and free it, and it's 79. Look, I know most people are probably all over Nev, but if you haven't been there, you'll get lost, and it could cost you about 3 hours.
That's right. That's right. And look, his flathead videos, he was the first, well, not the first, but one of the first that I saw get really good drone footage of flathead eating lures. And yeah, that's been great.
So go, Nev, and you owe me big time because I reckon I put you exactly onto those two spots, man.
They were your fish, mate. Really.
Oh, they had my name on them. Yep. Actually, some of the areas and the snags he fished, I've got names for them. But no, we get on really well. We had a good chat the other day for about an hour and a half, and he's just really good value. So yeah, I'm number one fan. I admit that, but it is just good watching. Yeah, I just had to, off the top of the rack there, I had to get that one out, and I've got to. Will we go down the baby vibe track now, mate?
Mate, I'm waiting for it.
Should we do that first? Because I've got some stuff to get through. I'm not going to gloss over this one either.
Okay, perfect.
So forgive me for rambling, but every now and again I'm entitled to.
Yeah.
It starts off with a good buddy I've met, Rick Formica, and he's joined me on probably 10 or 12 sorties now. We met down at Paynesville and just bumped into each other. Fellow kayaker, but he's also a really keen fly fisherman, and that's my grassroots. That's how I started fishing. Yeah, so Deethy, when we met, we really gelled. Like, what's that, Rick? You've been fly fishing for 10, 12 years. Oh, we're the same sort of age. Oh, so now you love lure fishing for bream and flathead, and you love yellowbelly, do you? And cod. So he's a really interesting dude because he's a bit like me in that he'll really experiment, and he's certainly passionate enough. He fishes a lot. And he's moved from Mansfield area to Paynesville, which I fish a lot, Gippy Lakes. And he did that by choice because he says, I've got to go live somewhere where I can fish and do what I love. So we bump into each other. It was fate. And I knew within the first hour, I said, this bloke's going to be a good buddy of mine down the track. But it's got to be more than that because we really enjoy each other's company and he makes me laugh. He's really quite quirky. But here's the thing. He said, Brett, I know you're affiliated with Hurricane and for good reason. I've got the lures and I catch a lot of fish on them. He said, but I want to swap you. You love the Twitch 40s and you keep telling me about them, how good they are. I've got something for you. I want you to take your Hurricane lures off and here's a baby vibe. In fact, here's two. And I've just bought 10 off Adam and they come with no hooks. This one's the Mussel one, as you've now pointed out to me just earlier.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. I just thought it was black, but it's not. And it's an old style one. Is that right?
This is what I understand. This is what I understand. And for the listeners or for the people watching, I'll put one up in the corner here so people can see exactly what we're talking about.
Okay. So he gave them to me probably 2 trips prior. We turned up at Hollands together one trip. This is early April, probably April 6 or 7 if I remember rightly on my diary. So it's a month ago. He said, Brett, now you've got to put them on. And I said, no, I will. No, I'll rig. And good, no hooks. I can just put the double hook straight on. Great. So together we head out and we're at Hollands Landing and out the middle of the lake, out through the entrance and pretty much no man's land. And he's flicking blades around. I did too. And then he swapped to the Baby Vibe Black and he said, Brett, bang, I'm on again. That's my 4th one. Are you going to put one on? I said, I'll reserve my judgment. He says, you haven't caught one. I've got, what? Bang, 5. Brett. I said, okay. So anyway, I did that, put it on, and I've got a modest maybe 13 or 14 that day, but it was pretty busy.
Wow.
But then the next trip, say only 2 days later, I went back and I had it on straight away. I thought, that's bad. Doing something different. You get a big kick out of that. Being a brim angler and throwing so many lures, it's nice to chuck something a little bit different. So I had it on from the word go. And long story short, 42 brim later on the same lure.
On the same lure.
That-
And that, okay. All right, let's back it up. So you've got the Mussel color, which is a black gold.
Yep.
You've got W hooks on,
Yep. 2 sets of doubles. on
two
it.
sets of doubles. And if you got a ring on the top, or what have you got on the top?
I don't think it has actually.
It doesn't come with one.
No.
So you have to put it on if you're going to do that.
No, I use snaps anyway. So I've got
Okay,
a
so you got a
snap.
snap.
Yeah, always use snaps. And just to clarify, yet again, back out into the lake, and that sounds so generic, right? So as you come out of Hollands, you can head left to Tom's, you can go down towards Loch Sport, you can go over towards Beardy Bay, which is Spoon Bay. Daryl Baird won the cup. We all call it Beardy Bay.
Betty
now.
Bay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, he's
Podcast legend.
He is, definitely. So we're just out amongst the poles to the left and no man's land a bit, but targeting 3 to 4 foot of water. No sounder, no tech this trip. And I was with me buddy Havo. He was using a Daiwa spike at the time. And I had straight up the same baby vibe.
Exact same one.
Same one. Yep. And Deethy, I had to colour it up a bit because the teeth marks on the back end of it had bruised. And I thought, I want to keep that finish, that black coppery. So I put a bit of nail polish over it. I love nail polish, everyone knows. So here's the thing. Havo's chipping away, getting a hit in 1 and 2. I reckon I counted 8 in a row. 8 casts, 8 Bream. Not big, not all big, no. They were 26 to maybe 35.
Yep.
But very significant. And after that, and this is from first light. Oh, no, not first light. Say about 7:30. So back then it was a fair bit of light, but just so busy. You, as a bream angler, I'm sure you agree with and rejoice in this sort of thing when you start off fishing. It's busy. It's not just the fact that you're hooking heaps, but you cluck, bump, drop one, tap, tick, tick. What? 3 goes at it. Gee, they're hungry. It was that type of bite.
Yeah, wow.
So this is how I was able to get 40 odd bream, and we were keeping good count together. So Havo's got the baby vibe, but in a different colour. The stripy pattern one,
It's like a prawn colour. Yeah, I'll put that up as well.
Okay. He had to dig one out because I told him to over the phone the last trip when I was with Rick when he first. Anyway, so there's a lot to say in one breath. But at day's end, I clocked up 76 bream for the session. Now,
wow.
It was a long day and it took me all day. It was 4 p.m. when I left. You don't get those numbers unless things are pretty hot and everything's in your favour. And it was glassed off.
Wow.
Calm. It was a beautiful day. And again, 8 kilo leader.
I meant to ask that.
Crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And
I wonder it was the same lure.
Yeah, no, I'd use the same, but I didn't catch them all. Sorry, let me clarify. So 76 fish all up, but I did experiment and change. See, because typical me, if the baby vibe's so good, I have to take it off to prove it good.
Yeah, you want to know if something else doesn't work.
Because if I put things on and they smash on that, it's a hot bite and you can't just hang your hat on it. It was the lure only. And so on this occasion, it was a super hot bite.
Wow.
Everything I put on, they smashed. So,
okay.
So does that take away from the baby vibe? Not for me, because...
No, I don't think so.
No, because, Deethy, it was a case of you get confidence with a lure. Once you've got that capital C for confidence, now I can reach into my box and say, I know that works, that lure. So when you'd have a tough bite and a cranky bite where they're tapping, and I can say, at least I know that one works. And so it was these things, you don't forget those days. They're one of the real special times. Incidentally, I did get them to 42 centimetres in the end, and in a lot shallow water, I was throwing the baby vibe into, say, a foot to not quite 2. And towards the end of the day, still glassed off, calm. And I hadn't fished that part of the lake in close where there's more structure and timber. I was targeting the deeper water, thinking that's where they're all camped up. As it turns out, when I went in shallower, I got bigger fish. So see how the learning curve ticks over. And for probably 15, maybe, I don't know about 20 fish, but say 15 fish, I caught them on hard bodies, soft plastics. I caught them on skimps and a few others. I was just changing around randomly and going back to the baby vibe just to check that it's still working. Yep, everything's working.
Still good.
So, yeah, I know it's a long story that I couldn't cut short, but it's a pretty special day, Deethy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with the baby vibe, you just had the one color. Sorry, did you have the prawn one as well, or just?
I did, and I put it on once, and it
Yeah.
got a fish straight away, so I took it off. I
Okay.
thought it works, so then I put on a soft plastic, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only
Okay.
other color I've got. I've got 3 baby vibes presently.
3 baby vibes. We might have to
But
remedy that situation.
yeah, that would be good. Yeah,
Also, with your W hooks, you had them rigged both points up.
yeah, both points up. Yeah,
Points up. So that means that the back one is going to lay up underneath the body of the lure.
the front one.
Yeah, the front one. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And incidentally, it's a bit overkill because it was all sandy bottom. Oh,
Yeah.
until I went shallow. But I'm just a creature of habit, double hooks. If I was to do it again, I would probably turn the front hook around.
Okay.
Yep. So it has a different hookup perspective, if you like.
Yeah.
At one point, I took the front double off because I thought
Yeah.
it's probably not doing much.
Yeah. I was going to say, that was my next question. Did you get many hookups on the front treble, on the front double?
I got a lot of hookups with both hooks in the fish's mouth. That was a good hard bite.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
They were really whacking it. And I'm talking fish even 28, 32, really whacking it. And
wow.
multiple hits, like lift, clunk. Oh, I should wind that slow. Clunk. Oh, geez, he's got it again. So they were really on that day.
Oh,
So
on it.
yeah. Oh, and look, I've repeated that, certainly not in the numbers, but I'm very confident with the baby vibe. So it's come full circle because I have used them probably 16, 17 years ago when I look back through my diary. And I was using Hummers back then. I moved on to the Cranker vibe.
Yep.
I got those as well. And there was another one. I just can't dredge it up. But
So Gladiator's got one as well,
we
which is
we
very
bought them.
similar.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the Kanguku from Bass Day was very similar.
Yeah, I know Chris Burbage put me on a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah. They were good.
Yeah, okay. But that's my baby vibe story. It's you just get a kick out of doing something different. I really enjoyed that.
And you've only touched the surface of these little lures. They like, I'll speak to Adam and see if he'll send you a mixed color pack because the cockle color is exceptional.
Yeah, that's Rick's other favorite, very favorite color.
Yeah.
The cockle.
The cockle.
Yes.
I'd be interested to see if it does well down your way.
I'll make it do well.
You'll make it do well.
That's how confident I am with them. They've got a very slight vibe. I'm used to blading a lot.
Yeah.
And Havo, who said, Brett, I've got it on, but I can't feel it. Mate, you're fishing it a little bit wrong. Just finesse it a bit. Don't overcook it. Just do a little, I think I've got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And until he did that, he wasn't catching fish. And he just slowed things up a bit and let it sit longer. And whether they rest, they probably fall over one side like blades. I don't know.
Yeah.
And eventually he went, I've got it. And then he got, I think,
Is
12.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think one of the things that they have going for them is also the rattle in them. I think for a small lure, they rattle quite well. And I've noticed I was fishing up on the Georges and with the active target, I could see fish all in the shallows. There was fish everywhere. Like, I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you use the active target, sometimes it depends on which way you're headed into the current. If you're shooting at the fish side onto the fish, you get a different image to if you're behind them looking when they're in that slim profile. Anyway,
they won't light up as much, would they? They'd be
no, you
hard
just
to
get
detect.
little lines. You get little lines, but if you're side onto them, you tend to get little dots.
And more of a readout as to what they're doing.
Oh, you can see them bouncing around everywhere. They're just like little grains of rice. And you can see them, even with a baby vibe. Sometimes you can see the lure coming down and you'll see them rise up to it. it's quite fascinating. But
Okay.
what I did notice, it was halfway, and I think I spoke about this a bit, it was halfway through the prawn challenge, and I was throwing prawns, which were silent at that point. So I was fishing soft plastic prawns with no rattles, and it was okay. I put rattles in the prawns and then caught fish. And then I went to the baby vibes with a bigger rattle and just slayed them.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
think the rattle plays a big part. So, yeah,
And I'm going to experiment too with the weighting because I know you do a lot of weighting. In fact, probably most of your baby vibes are
a
weighted.
lot. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think
so do you put them between the hookup points or on the chin? Like right
under
at the
the
front?
chin,
Right.
under the chin. So I've been using
Okay.
the atomic sticky weights, which I'm
Yep.
told are out of production at the moment. So becoming harder to get, and basically mold that to the shape of the front of the bib in front of the front hook point
Yep.
or the middle hook point, and then pull it off. So mold it to the shape, pull it off, and stick it back on with super glue.
Gotcha. Yep.
So yeah, and it's still vibes, and you just catch fish, and you don't have to wait for hours for it to sink.
Because you're fishing 18, 20 foot at
Often,
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah,
Often. Yep.
and I talk in meters, 5 to 8 meters,
5 to, yeah.
which is
Gotcha.
15 to 24 foot. So
The scenario I was in, and I'll probably will continue to be in, is that 2 to 3, maybe 5 to 6 foot,
perfect.
so 1.8 meters, 2 meters maximum, but usually a meter and under. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and and long, super long cast. The longer the
yeah,
better,
right.
covering
Yeah, okay.
country. But
Yeah,
again, interestingly, the closer the baby vibe got to where I was casting from, as in the kayak, but it could have been a boat, that's where I got most of my hits. Again,
yeah, right.
yeah, really interesting.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
that's
hookups, a rod length to 2 rod lengths out. Yeah, pretty
wow.
crazy stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. That is very interesting.
it is.
I
It's of
I got to tell you,
significance.
yeah, I'm pretty happy that you found the baby vibe again. It's been such a great lure for me, and of recent times, I've been fishing amongst other things, bridge pylons with it, and getting destroyed.
And you're one BEM.
And I won BEM on them.
That's what prompted me because when Rick said, "Baby vibe, Brett, do you want to try one?" I said, "Yeah, no, do you think? Yeah, let's go, man.
Yeah,
Hand it over. Give it to me."
that's it.
And
That's it.
you were the instigator for that, so thank you, mate.
There you go. I will talk to Adam. We'll see if we can sort something out.
Go at him.
Very good. All right. What else is going on down there, mate? You think you had a bit of a story about BEM?
Oh, BEM. That BEM sound, that's incredible at the moment. I want to talk about Beth Harris in a second. She's
Yeah.
part of the collective, and that was just last night for us. It'll be last week that it come up on the podcast. But anyway, first up though, James Russell, good buddy. He took off to BEM, and you pre-booked those fishing dates months and months out. So they weren't to know it was going to flood, which it has in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And it bust open and it really
Yep.
filled up and it was chocolate. So they got there and thought it's been raining and it was flooded and chocolate and high and it bust open. And historically, BEM takes a week or more to settle down. And so a lot of the people that were at BEM or had cancelled BEM trips weren't fishing there. So James said, "We're here now. Let's just head to the entrance. We might get a few salmon on the incoming water and whatnot." But James rang and told me about, he said, we just brained him. He said, we got flooded to 70 centimetres. And Deethy, this will rock your socks. Brim to 45.
Really? In BEM?
Black brim to 45 at BEM.
Wow. So
We,
41 forkers.
now, I just went, stop, hold everything. 45. That's a rare beast in there. Now, I'm not sure that he got 4 or 5 of them, but I know he said we got some beautiful big brim. So that was of another point. They also caught trevally and to 50 centimetres and Taylor and all on that divide, the incoming clean water and that divide, and the darker coloured water. Again, as we've already mentioned, you can have the salt wedge thing. It
Yeah.
can look dirty on top, but underneath it might only be 2 foot. And as you progress further back into the inlet, it would probably be all of the inlet right through the water column, but anyway, down at the front. So he said, Brett, there was no one around because everyone said it's not fishing that well. So let's all just abandon ship, head to the pub. But no, James and two mates, he sent me a swag of photos. And isn't it funny how fate can just work in your favour? You think things are septic and no good, but perseverance, and he doesn't get a chance to get out much, James. Busy man, young kid. So he just says, bugger that, we're here. Let's just do what we've got to do. And it turned into be an epic trip.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
a bit more about BEM, I would say, than me. But I'm told that when it floods up like that and fills up, it makes the fishing hard.
Super.
And when it opens, you go home for a week. But
that's well known. It's nearly a fact. Nearly hang your hat on it. But not anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're giving people hope. For those poor people who go down there next time it's flooded, there's hope.
Yeah. So let's go back to our good buddy in the collective, Beth Harris. She was there prior to the floods, probably a good 2 weeks prior, actually, and had really good weather. And she was watching our last monthly report and how I was talking about the double rig.
Yeah.
How I was experimenting with that. And for those who didn't hear, it's a soft plastic essentially. And I just run a line off the bottom or the gape of the hook down to a fly and a soft plastic. I varied it up, but I was mainly chasing perch back then. Anyway, let's forget that bit. Beth saw all that and thought, oh yeah, I might give that a try. So when she was at BEM, and she was whacking a lot of brim too. And BEM can do. You can get a lot of 26 to 32s and 34s, and it can be quite busy. And I'm sure at some point she said, let's try the double rig.
Yep.
So she did that. And long story short, she didn't get two on two fish, which would be the ultimate.
Yes.
But she did get one brim with two skimp lures because she was using a double skimp setup.
Yeah.
Hurricane skimp. And she brought in the brim and she said, oh, it's eaten the lure. Wait a minute. It's eaten both lures.
Yes.
Wow. Now, I don't know about you, Deethy, but that's pretty cool.
That was amazing. I've got a photo of it with Beth's permission. We'll put that up. It's not a big fish. And it's obviously come through and grabbed the first one, kept going, and gone and got the second one and got them both in.
Both hooked up.
Crazy.
It's grouse. And she had hookups on the back one and the front one. And at one point, she also had a brim on and winding it in, and a flathead. She could see it as she was winding in, come up and attack the back skimp, but didn't hook up. So it could have been two in one rig, or double rig. Yeah, Beth, I take my hat off to you. I reckon it was one of the coolest stories.
I think there's only one way that this story could be better.
Okay, tell me.
If she was wearing a Bream Fishing Project t-shirt, I think that would be better.
Yeah, that's better.
So what I think we'll do, Beth, if you want to reach out to me, send me whatever size you'd like. I should have them in stock. I'm starting to run a bit low, but we'll ship one down to you. And
that's grouse.
You can fly the Bream Fishing Project flag. How good's that?
Hey, Deethy, well done. That's very nice of you. Very generous, but really well deserved. No, because most people would look at what I was talking about and say, oh, typical Geddes, always doing something different. But no, Beth she flew with it. She said, oh, yeah, I'll try that.
That's it.
Go the shirt.
And
great reward.
Yep. And that'll be good. And look, for anyone else out there, I do have a few shirts left, $50 a go plus some postage. Shoot me a message and we'll get that out to you. And like you said before we got on, they're a great t-shirt. They're a great shirt to wear.
Oh, so
mate.
Yeah, look at that. Go.
I don't think you can look much cooler than that.
Show everyone the sleeve, Jobby.
The sleeve. So you got the thumb hole in the back.
Cover the back of your hands.
So it covers the back of your hands.
Keeps them warm.
Mate, it look amazing.
It does.
Mate, I've got to tell you something, and I haven't spoken about this to you at all. I don't think.
Okay.
I got an umbrella for my kayak.
Oh, you got an umbrella. That's very Geddified, that one.
Oh,
mate, And did it come in handy?
I haven't tested it yet,
Okay.
but Mick Eddinghausen had one,
Yeah.
and it clips onto the back of your seat.
Oh, he's gone the next level.
He was up at Foster, and we were getting hosed. And in his video you can watch,
Yeah.
he sitting under his umbrella fishing away. I'm like, I've got to do that.
Have you got a golf umbrella, or is it just a normal
No,
size?
it's an interesting umbrella. It's a little bit longer on the front, so it can sit behind you and cover you. Mate, it's going to get used. Get it used in the sun sometimes too.
Hey, that's what initially I got it for.
Yeah.
And I made a little insert between my legs that the umbrella, but it's a little bit low. So what happens is I find it hard to cast on it.
A bit like that.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. And I try and lift the rod up to hook the fish, and it's hitting the umbrella. But let me go slow. There is some merit to my stupid ways. So here's the thing. When you're in the kayak and you look up and you think, it's a black cloud. It's not going to rain for long. It is such a pain in the ass to put the pants on and the jacket and put the hood, and you get so hot in summer and it's so wet in winter. And so what I've worked out is that if you can just pop that umbrella and stop fishing,
Yep.
and it keeps the whole cockpit area dry, keeps your
Yeah.
sounder dry. You can
Yep.
open your hatch up, get on your phone,
Yep.
ring the missus and say I'll be late, whatever. Send some
Yep.
fish porn to the mates early. So everything's dry,
Yeah.
and it's so much quicker because you haven't had to drag all this pants on. You think, well, if I don't put them on, I'm going to get wet. Oh God, just go dook up and sit it there. And sometimes I just squeeze it in between my legs. Now, as Carl Dubois last night pointed out, you wouldn't want to put one up in the wind.
No.
And that is indeed very ugly, because I
Yes.
have done that with a little storm front that come through, and the umbrella ended up not only airborne, but in the bush where I could not retrieve it.
Oh.
I did, but it took some.
Oh.
Here's the offset to that is that sometimes when a big easterly raises its ugly head and I'm out in the lakes, to get home quicker and save me drive, I put the brolly up. You know where I'm
Yeah,
going.
I know where you're going.
Joke, put it out in front of me, and it just pulls me along, and I've got my feet up, got my feet crossed up on the top of the kayak, and I'm just getting barreled along.
You'd be
And
like Brett Mary Poppins.
That's what I keep telling all the boys. They say, "What's that in your?" I said, "I'm Mary Poppins. I take it." Oh, the umbrella story's still on. It's pretty. But you've got one now, so hey, kudos
I've got
to
one.
you.
Yep. Yep. But there's another advantage too. I was watching Morgo talk about his competitions with the app-based competitions with their measurements.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that I've done when it's raining, it's really hard to open your phone and do all that stuff. But if you pop the umbrella up, dry your hands off, dry your phone off,
because you got to take the photos.
take the photo. You can work your phone because it's a problem. Like you have to record your fish.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
the brolly.
The brolly. Oh, it's a thing. It's been a thing for me for a lot of years.
Well, there you go. I have done it before, but we've gone to another level. So
Deethy, I can see it. Bream Fishing Project.
oh,
brolly.
we could get it printed.
Deethy.
I didn't think about that.
With the mic in the appropriate spot again.
Yes, with the microphone. All right.
All right.
Very good.
Okay, we've covered that one. That's
all right. I met one of the collective members.
Yep.
Kevin Pham. He was driving through Sydney and he reached out to me and said, I'm coming through on, I think it was Saturday, might have been Friday. Do you reckon we could catch up? I'm like, I guess so. And I said, I'll be on the water. So if you can come to the water, I can probably meet you. And he bought me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bought me a present. Bought me 2 presents, Brett.
Let me guess. What? Not baby vibes.
Not baby vibes. I did give him a couple of baby vibes. It's lures.
Yeah.
And Paul Malov's going to be happy to see this.
It's the dice.
It's the dice.
What?
I've got I haven't opened it yet. I saved it.
A pink pack. Look at
and a white pack. I'm going to open it now because I want to know what they're like.
Oh. Haven't they got black dots in them? I'm sure I saw Paul Malov with.
I could do it.
You could, but you probably don't need to. Anyway.
No.
I thought they were a bit bigger. Yeah.
And I looked back at his video today and it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Oh,
stink.
do they?
I can nearly eat that. So yeah,
Look at that thing.
so I'm going to get in touch with Paul and just have a talk to him about what hooks he
Yeah.
was using. But definitely
Yeah.
stinks. I can't
Do they?
think what lure it smells like, but it's
Umami. It could be for Bream.
maybe. So there you go. So
Oh,
I'll take this
crazy.
out on the Georges and see if we can get it smashed.
I'm pretty sure it's only Paul Melov that's used him. At least it made it public. I talked to Paul when I fished with him recently about the dice. I think everyone would talk to him. He
Yeah.
probably hasn't put them on ever since, has he?
I don't know. I
You
don't
must
know.
ask him.
But I've got some and they're going to get a
Grouse.
run. Maybe even we got the comp coming up at Lake Mac. I wonder if I
Mm.
could throw them under a boat hole and have them be eaten.
Let's say this: it would be a guarantee they have never seen him before.
You would have to think so.
Yep.
You would have to think so.
Yeah, and so much Wrigley bits on them. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they eat them?
Yeah. It's funny. Like I said, Kevin dropped these off and came and said hello. And I was thinking about it, and yourself included, without the tournaments, without the Bream Fishing Project, we would never have met these people.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing.
Great comment. Yeah.
Yeah. It still blows me away, and that we can have a community around the country.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's just one of the upsides.
I think just to quickly expand on that, I haven't thought of that today, Deethy, is that I talked and fish with people like Paul Malov, and I get to chat with Nev and yourself and mates that I've fished with for 15, 20 years that would never ever dream of posting anything on Sookbook, let alone YouTube. And the whole family, it's almost like another collective. It's like we all chat and talk to each other.
Yeah.
And everyone's within reach. If I wanted to talk to Steve Starling tomorrow, I could send him a message or a PM or whatever, or just comment on one of his YouTube, and I would get feedback.
Yeah.
That hasn't always been the case. And
Yes.
and I wouldn't say that I'd expect it, but it would be, I'm certainly not surprised if he got back to me and said, "Oh, how you going, Brett? What have you been doing?" And not me, but just anyone.
That's right.
And I do see that in the feedback, in the comments, and even in the YouTube, when you get the comments that scroll down 50 different comments, and quite often, even like Nev, he'll comment to people I'm sure he's never ever talked to before.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's interesting.
yeah, I agree with what you're saying, mate. I think
Mm.
we're all contactable. We're all, even meeting people on the water now, they recognise me voice from having talked to you.
Yeah.
And just the other day, a guy said, "Oh, Brett, I heard you talking. I recognised your voice." I said, "Yeah, I do talk a lot." He said, "Oh, do you mind if I ask you what sort of lures?" And then I showed him the hard on soft, and that conversation got shut down pretty quick. He just said, "What's that?"
Yeah.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is right. I was thinking while you were talking, Starlo, who I've not spoken to, but if I had tried to reach out to Starlo back when they bought out Squidgies, I don't know what I would have done. I would have had to probably write a letter to the editor of a magazine,
Or email him,
or
even old school.
if I could find an email address. I
Yeah.
might not be able to find an
Oh, that's
address.
true. Yeah.
Whereas now it's obviously a much more direct line.
Yeah.
Like I could probably reach. I don't know him, but I could probably reach out to him.
Yeah.
He may choose not to respond, but I could definitely get a message to him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And just like I wanted to contact Mario Vukic at one point in time, and I tracked him down. I think I did it through Messenger, whatever, and straight away he got back to me, and I talked to his son Mikey, and next thing we're chatting. And another thing, and this is a good segue, because another subject I wanted to bring up on this chat tonight was, now there's a fella down in Tassie. His name's Mike, and he goes under the banner of MSK Fishing.
Yeah.
Now, Deethy, this is something that really, and I know I keep talking about bizarre ways to fish and different, and I do acknowledge, and I like to reach out to guys that are doing stuff like Scotto that's really different, 10-foot Messiah rods and no leaders and stuff. But I'm gonna just quickly now branch into what Mike's doing, and he is up there. It's next level.
Right.
You're going to love this, Deethy.
And you haven't told me. This is a
No,
surprise.
It's a surprise. I told you I had a surprise. And I wanted to bring this up well, actually, our last monthly report. I didn't get around to it. Anyway, Mike's been contacting me and sending me long messages, a bit like Scotto, because they've got a lot to say. And for good reason.
Yeah.
Mike's down in town. He fishes, I'm pretty sure he's down the south end, like the Derwent and the Huon and a few other waterways. Don't quote me on that. But Mike, he also, like myself, enjoys seeing how people do things differently and has followed what I've been doing, listening to what we talk about, has listened to quite a few of my podcasts with Greg and whatnot. So he reached out and said, Brett, I know you love blades, and I want to tell you something that I think you'll really be surprised with. He's basically land-based. He fishes it, I think, nearly all the time, actually. And so what he's doing with blades at the moment, and this freaked me out. Now, this is really different. He knows my tea bag thing, and he says, that's cool, and I double hooks on blade and make my own blades and all that. So he's acknowledged that, but he says, here's something I'm doing that I reckon you'd really love. And boy, do I love it. He's land-based. He's casting ZXs, essentially.
Yep. Which is the ones with the stinger hooks rather than the trebles.
Hooks, 35s and 40s, I believe. I think mainly 40s. And so he's fishing shallow-ish water. Not sure. It's like salt water and fresh. I'm not sure about all that stuff, but rather not, I want to delve into that. He's using the blade in a way which I could never, ever have dreamt up to be possible to catch bream. So here it goes.
Okay.
Land-based, on foot. One ZX40, cast it as far as he can. And it's, I'm pretty sure it's not deep water. I'm talking 3 to 6 foot maybe. Before the blade hits the water, he has engaged the bail arm and is already winding before the blade hits the water.
Yeah.
Because if you do otherwise, wait for the blade to hit the water, it's already on the bottom. And that's nullifying his purpose, what he wants to do. This is the twisted part. So out goes the blade, ZX40, winding, already, it hasn't touched the water, winding, hits the water, high stick, winding, and super wind fast. And like nearly salmon-like, it's a bit, and deadly. He sent me photos, and he says, Brett, this is the only way I'm getting them.
Really?
Now, when you hear that puts a double twist to it, because I would have thought, let's experiment a bit and let him sit down normally like blades do. And land-based blade fishing is notoriously ugly because you're going to snag up and you're going to get all sorts
You can't get them.
teeth. You got all sorts of grief going on.
Yeah.
And it may be all sandy bottom. No grief, I get that. But no, he's quite specific about this. And it could be seasonal. It could be water temps, could be colour. It could be a little bit year-round. I don't think even Mike knows that yet because it's a relatively new-ish, I'm saying 2 months worth that he's been doing it. But the detail that he went into and the way he does it, it's brand new. There's no one doing it.
Wow.
It is wow because I reckon I've dreamt up everything and thought about, let's try this, let's do that. And I can expand a little bit on that blade thing where I have had mates, Brian Lazaro in particular, where he's fished the straits with blades on the edge. Now, it's hard to believe because when they barrel down, they're just going to get timber.
Yeah.
But he's done that too. So I don't want to get off the track there, but that's just a little snippet. When you do something different, you discover something and share it to get that wow factor. Like Mike, if you're listening, pal, just send me another long-winded message because I'll read and salivate over the whole lot.
Wow.
I know I'm overexcited. I know I'm building this up. But anyone out there, you tell me you've done that.
Yeah.
No one's done that, Deethy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So basically, it's hitting the water moving. So it's already,
Yep.
and it's just rip it.
And to keep it off the bottom, you have to, he high sticks it.
Yeah.
And I should have gone through my notes again that he sent to me to relay this tonight, but I was slack. I haven't. I've been busy today, Deethy.
Yeah.
It's another story. And so, Mike, at some point, I think, gee, he might even need him. Do we need him as a guest interviewee on the
We could get him on and have a quick chat.
Oh,
Absolutely.
anyway,
Absolutely.
this is the sort of stuff that really turns me on
Yeah.
because there's not many doing it. So, anyway, Mike, I will be calling you. We need to talk about this. I've given up sending messages to Scotto because it takes too long to poke at my phone.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have to call you, Mike. And Scotto, we need to talk again too. Wow.
Maybe we can get Scotto to give it a go because they're down in similar water.
Yeah.
Maybe because I reckon he'd definitely have a go.
I hear those stories, do you think? What's ahead of us? What we don't know is probably times 10 what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. The last 12 months has been some really interesting stuff. I was thinking of the forward facing sonar, seeing fish in the middle of the water column that or at the top of the water column, you wouldn't think they'd be there. Like, what are the brim doing there?
Yeah. Like what Morgo showed us.
That's like what Morgo showed us. And then you start to
Groundbreaking.
think about it, you go, oh, that makes more sense. You hit the top of the water and took off. It's because the
Yeah.
fish was already at the top.
That was a real eye opener for me.
Yeah.
And we're so oblivious to it, aren't we? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what this latest tech has shown us. And the tech will only develop from here. Like in 5 years, what we've got today will be dinosaur like.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's not always the case, but you can only imagine it would be.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. All right. What else is on your mind, Brett? A couple more things.
Okay. All right. Let me go. Well, I talk about today because we've got the collective with a brand new challenge.
Let's talk about the challenge and then that'll lead in nicely.
Okay.
So, what we've got, for those of you who don't know, within the collective, we get together around every 6 weeks, we'll do a challenge. Now, this challenge currently, which started, I guess, a week ago when this comes out, is leading into winter. I thought it would be a good idea to get onto crabs and mussels. So, as a lot of the guys are tournament anglers, and these fish, both of them, both the crabs, particularly the cranker crab, but they're proven to be big fish lures and often numbers of fish. So what we've done is we've got a couple of people who are sponsored and a couple not, but these are the lures that we're focusing on. This one's the blue lip bait mussel, and we're going to come back to this in a minute. So it's a micro mussel, and they also have a pygmy mussel in the red pack, which I don't have one with me. We've got a traditional cranker crab that comes in 3 sizes typically and a couple of different weights. And I can't remember how many colors, maybe 15 colors. One that I wasn't aware of, that's not true because I actually had a pack, but I'd forgotten. And this is out of Hurricane. This is the spider crab. I'm going to grab one of these out to show people. So,
have you got the jig as well with it, Deethy, or have you just got the crab? Yeah,
I've just got these ones are pre-rigged.
Okay, yeah.
So I've only got the one size jig head, but there's multiple jig head sizes and weights.
And colours too.
And colours is like Hurricane's famous for having amazing colours. But basically you've got this soft plastic crab with stingers in the claws. And underneath the crab, you've got your weight, which is interchangeable. So you can put a heavier or lighter weight on. So what else do we cover? One more. We did the rockin' crab, which is out of bait breath.
Yep.
So they come in a packet like this, and just a great looking little finesse crab.
Cool looking little dudes,
Yeah. I tend to rig 2 ways. One, this is like a 1/40th TT number 2 hidden weight, so that the weight's in the middle of the hook, and it's just a nice finesse presentation. Or if you want something a little bit heavier, I'm liking these lures, Brett. They're tungsten.
Yeah, good one. Okay. Yeah,
The
those jig heads,
Kitech
yep.
tungstens, and they fit in very nicely as well.
They look part of the deal, don't they, really?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
speaking of tungsten, now I don't have any here, but Blue Lip Bait, so Joey Gardner, he's got some tungsten weights coming out as well, which we can attach to our mussels, crabs, or anything that we want to get down a little bit quicker. So there's something new. It'll be on the market quite soon. So it's definitely something to keep a lookout, an
And
eye out for.
non-toxic, very important.
Yeah, non-toxic and heavier. The advantage of the tungsten is it's heavier for the size of the weight.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes, yep.
So that's a very quick rundown of the challenge, which we'll run over for the next 6 weeks. But tell us about your experience, given the challenge started last night, so you thought, better get on it.
I'd already had a one of Joey's muss.
Yep, one of these
mussels.
ones, the micro mussel.
Micro mussel, single hook. That's the one. And I also now I've caught fish on the spider crab, the hurricane, years gone by. Now, here's a sore point with me is that I have not been good historically with either the crab or the muss.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be first. That's the one I had on today. That's it. Yep.
Beautiful.
And now it's cheating a little because I did have a hot bite in front of me today. Today I caught about 39 odd fish today. I did keep count. Not all bream, as I'll go into that a bit more. So I thought chasing perch. Now, incidentally, or coincidentally, it was exactly where Nev has just been filming.
Right.
Because where I sent him is just one of my little latest hotspots. So I went back and thought, well, I'm going to beat what Nev did. If he can get him, I can get him too. And I did not get a big bream. He did. But I decided, okay, now I can just keep doing what I do and throwing out the skimps or the hard on soft or the Twitch 40, or even I did contemplate today the baby vibe, but it was very woody and I don't want to. I've only got a couple of baby vibes, Deethy. So I left them out of the equation. I thought, aha, let's put the mussel, Joey's mussel. Let's put that on. I'll put that mussel on. I've got to just have a go. I've got to get out of my head that they don't work as deadly as what I'm used to. And we're all creatures of habit, and we all go to our reach in the box, grab the lure, the one you're confident with. I said, let's forget that.
Yeah.
I know there's fish here. And I had already caught a few fish. I'd caught about 4 or 5 fish. So I thought it's not like they're shut down. So it's a good time to have a try. So I'm in the lake and fishing hard up on the edge, throwing in. And I thought, even if it gets caught up, I'll get it off because it's only 2 foot, not even a metre maximum. So I'll be able to get them back if they get snagged up. That's all good. And I've got to tell you, Deethy, I struggled big time.
All right.
Oh, boy. It was a bad income grind.
Yeah, okay.
So have I got the wrong lure for the scenario? I don't know. Did I fish it right? I don't know. I don't fish enough. But I persevered and I was dogged and I thought, oh, just keep doing it. So I did it. And then I had a clunk on the muss. I thought, wait a minute, that's a fish. Oh. So I'm sitting up a bit higher in the kayak now. I think maybe this could turn around. I thought, I better put it back in the same spot. Bang! I got a bream. And I thought, I nearly high-fived myself. I said, that's, how good is that?
Wow.
Oh, wait, I've got to get it. I've got to get it in. I want to get a photo for Deethy. So I actually took a video. I sent that to you, but it was a real blooper. It was.
It was.
Oh, the fish is. Did you see the video?
I saw the video. I thought you're going to have hooks in you.
I know. The thing was bouncing. I pulled him in pretty green. Anyway, so then I settled him down and I took another video and I got a couple of stills off the video and I sent you a couple. So, yeah, number 1 on the muss. Then, of course, I'm thinking, I'm onto this. I'm not going to tell you the rest because I don't have to. 40 minutes later, nothing. I'm going unsnagged it twice. Nearly didn't get it back. I'm thinking, it's going to have to go. Another day. Okay, go back to what you know. I said, glutton for punishment. I'll put the cranker crab on.
Okay.
So I thought, I know they're here. If I can get one on the if I can get one on the cranker crab, I can get one up on all the collective members and hopefully get one on each. I'll give it 10 minutes. No, I'll give it
Yeah.
half an hour. It took 2 casts.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. Bang. And I'm on again, right in the shallows. And he was about 38, 37. I didn't measure him, but I reckon 38, 37.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty chuffed, Deethy. I'm chuffed. Like,
Mate, I think you're in front.
I hope so, because I reckon it was a good 2 hours all up for not a lot of return.
Not a lot of return. But, mate, we'll have to come back to this next chat we have and see where you're at, because people are braining fish on all of these lures.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Not yet.
Not yet. So I'll experiment, because I'm going to get back and fish deeper water at Hollands and try and, because they are going deeper. This is why you're doing it, and I get that. And maybe I was fishing too shallow, because the shallow water bite is starting to back out and slow up, even right across the Gippy Lake. So a little bit circumspect there. Maybe 2 months ago might have been a different story, but I've caught enough on the muss and my homemade ones to know that pretty confident with them. So
it's a thing.
Watch this space. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, the reason, as you said, that we're getting into the winter, we're going to a deeper bite. The reason I picked this or these lures is there's a good spread of lures there. You've got the Callum's, the muss, the Callum Dow's Outback Breamer Baits muss. You've got the micro mussel out of Blue Lip Baits and Joey Gardner. You got the soft plastic crab out of Hurricane, which like I said, I was not really across, but definitely a cheaper option.
Yeah. And robust.
Robust.
Yep.
Different weights and good. Gets a good looking lure. And then obviously the cranker crab, which speaks for itself. And then the little rockin' crab for anyone that wants just that finesse. I really like them. In our local, I remember paddling along saying, "Oh, little black crab." It's like, I have a crab exactly like that in the bag. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the collective can do in terms of big fish. I think we're going to see some big fish this challenge.
Let's face it, historically, big fish in the comps, it's been a well-proven fact, hasn't it, that a lot of big fish, and talk about Steve Starling, his biggest fish is on, I think, one of Callum's muss.
Yeah, wow.
And I think it was like 2-point-something kilo. And that's saying something, because he's caught a lot of... That's
outstanding.
It is. And the crabs, look, the one thing I will say is the crab does not get many little fish. You can nearly say it probably wipes out half your catch, because the little fellas don't tend to go for it. And so that's another thing too of important note.
Yeah, that's it. And all these lures, if people are looking for them, I'll put links in the notes so people can just click the link and just go and have a look. But yeah.
I've got to learn a bit more, because I'm not a very patient angler when it comes to lure angling, and I know sometimes the less you do with them, the better. Both those types of lures. And Ben Hodgkins taught me a lesson some 12 months ago when we were fishing very shallow water, and I was using hard bodies and soft plastics. And he was throwing, may have been Joey's muss, I'm not sure, Mussel. Anyway, he was throwing it into less than a foot of water, and it was getting attacked 3 seconds after it hit the water by big bream, 42 and 43 centimetres. And I was just camera bitch that day. I just said, Ben, let me get you for real? And it was like throwing a black rock in the water. It was another eye-opener. So, again, another example of how much have we got to learn. I say, I know nothing.
Yeah. Well,
really?
One of the more, when we talk about the muss, I think one of the interviews I did with Mario Vukic on, I think must have been the Australian Open. And they were actually, I'm sure he was slow rolling the muss. They're throwing it out and just slow rolling it across the bottom. Something along those lines.
Okay.
But just amazing.
So
And
it's another avenue. See, another thing.
exactly. And I'm hoping to see one of our guys get on a podium somewhere through using one or more of these lures. It'll be pretty exciting, I think.
That would be exciting. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Have you got much experience of using the crabs all round, or are you like me a little bit need to lift your game?
Oh, mate, I need to lift my game. Like
Yeah.
I think I said this last night. I actually went out with Dane Tomaszewski of Zeus Tackle, just opened up a new shop.
Okay.
And I also went out with Carl State. And both those guys showed me about how to use the mussels
Yep.
and the crabs in my local waterways. I remember jumping on the water on my kayak after fishing with Dane and going out and getting 3 kilos for 3 fish,
Mm.
which is outstanding up here.
Yeah.
And
Cool. I get that. Yep.
yeah. And also, and I had a bit of a technological fail. I did want to have some active target footage because I've been fishing the bridges and being able to scan around
Yeah.
and see the shape of the bridge, and you can see where the fish are sitting on the bridge. I just couldn't work out how to get it here. So maybe next time.
Okay. Yep.
But the combination of the mussels, crabs, active targets, baby vibes has
Mm.
been just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully I can get back up on the podium soon.
Yeah, that's a good,
So
good
yeah,
story. But who were now, Deity, let's backtrack 10 years. Whoever would have thought we would be catching big bream constantly on something that looks like a mussel with a hook hanging out of it?
yeah,
Fair income.
yeah,
It's isn't our lure fishing world grouse
it is.
to
It
and now also I'm seeing pictures coming in being sent to me with printed plastic claws, and you know more about this than what I do, but this is next level again. Like
yeah,
a big crab claw,
a big
that's
yeah.
it's printed and not. I just I look at that and go, "What's next? What isn't next?"
Exactly. But have you seen the claw that's coming out of I think it's maybe a collaboration between Adam from fishing.com.au and Pimp My Lure Dan Steed or Stead.
Yep, I think Lee is it Leon?
Yeah, Leon
Yeah,
might have a couple.
he's got. I think he was using them in
Yeah.
around Paynesville. Yeah.
And they've refined that over probably, I want to say a 2 year period, maybe 18 months.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's going to prove to be a good lure, as is the new Daiwa Reflex, which is due on shelves now. It's due to be out.
Reflex. Go slow. I don't know about that one.
Reflex it's a vibe. It's basically, gosh, I'm not going to try and tell the story because I probably won't get it right. But they came across a lure designer out of Japan and did a collaboration, and they've come up with these vibes. And the idea is these swim both ways, which is always the plan, but they swim down and swim up.
Okay.
So depending on how you work them, I guess.
So they
So
shimmy down. So to
shimmy
speak.
down.
Yep.
So I think they're due out now, and I know they've had good results in testing. I did have one, but it didn't last long.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there
Yeah.
you go. All right. What else you got for me, Brett? Because
I
I've got
reckon. Oh, I think I'm nearly done. The only thing I'll say before we do wind up, and I know you'll have a little bit more to go through, but I've just got it in the back of mind as you were talking. Then that, mate, the challenge is back on your deck. You have to send me some porn with that dice.
okay.
That's your challenge for this next week or whenever you get out. I Now you owe me, man, because I fish a lot more than you, I know, but I'm sending you a fair bit of fish porn.
All
Now
right.
you owe me. Okay,
Yeah. All right.
this is your challenge to pay your little buddy back.
All all right. We can do that. And look, through the magic of technology, I will learn how to put some active things on here so we can
Oh yeah,
show some videos.
yeah, that's
Um,
important. Yeah.
so we'll get to that. All right. So look,
Okay.
if you're pretty much done, the last thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to do a quick wardrobe change.
Cool. Ah, Mr. Force. Yeah, okay.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Force Lures and Tackles. So this is a little
Yeah.
company out of Western Australia. Now they sponsor the collective. Last round, the round before, when we did the bent minnow challenge, had the little ziggies. Now, they've sent us a care pack that was massive, and we're going to give it away.
Oh, it's a lot in this pack. I saw
There's
it
a
last
lot
night.
in this pack.
That's a mountain of a big package. Yeah.
So
Very
the
generous. Very
it was
generous.
super generous, and I've enjoyed using the lures. I'm just going to show you a few just to give people a bit of an idea. But we used the Ziggies, which is a little bent minnow style lure, in the second last challenge, and they were really good at raising fish.
Yeah.
The fish liked them.
Yep.
And they've got a massive range of stuff. Absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is, for the people in the collective, they have a way to win a pack. And then for anyone that's not in the collective, but wants to be in the collective, over the next, I reckon, 6 weeks or so, for anyone that joins up to the collective, you're just going to go in a random draw and we'll just, I guess, raffle it off.
It's a
Might
big
even,
pack.
it's a big pack. Might even
Mm.
throw in a shirt.
Ooh.
So they'll make it better. And yeah, so what I might do.
And Deethy, go through also how to get involved with the collective as to what avenue to take. Because I've been asked this by a few people. How do I get involved? How do I join?
Okay. It's very simple, and hopefully once again, through the magic of technology, I can put it up on the screen, but we'll see. It's definitely in most of the show notes for the episodes. So if you go and listen to the podcast, you go into the show notes, you should be able to click a link, which is brimfishingproject.supercast.com. I'll tell you now, it's $15 a month or $150 a year, whichever way you want to go is fine. Join in, cancel any time. Connect up to Facebook. If we're on Facebook, we've got a chat there or multiple chats where people can have a look and talk about what they've done and just be involved in that community there. But I'm going to run through these really quickly, these lures, because there's way too many to go through. But
yeah, and talk them up for those who are only listening only.
oh, mate. So this one, we've got a 2.5-inch paddle tail.
And they're elastic too.
Yeah, Elastec, and they're quite dense.
Super
I'll pull
stretchy.
one out of the packet in a minute. So there's a few packets of those in a couple of different colors.
A lot of
Jig,
double ups. Yep.
jig heads. Hey, they've got like the worm hooks with weights on them,
Yeah, that's cool.
and a couple of different sizes. And we've also got in that same lot, we've got two variations on that. Got some colored ones with black paint on them, and somewhere in here, once again, a couple of different sizes. So I'm just going to split this pack down the middle.
And if you want to check this out, get onto YouTube. A lot of people listening on Spotify, etc., listening only while driving or working. It's just get on YouTube and check this stuff out. It's pretty cool.
That's it. That's it. And if you want to have a look at Force Lures, jump onto www.forcelures.com.au. Definitely tell them I sent you because that's helpful.
Yep.
Trying to find. Okay, they've got these other worm hooks with the belly weight rather than a ball at the front. And what I would say about these are a much stronger gauge. If you want to rip some heads off, I reckon these will be the go.
Mm.
Mate, the bent minnow ziggies, these little guys, these killed it in that challenge.
So they're not a walk the dog as such. They're more
They're a bent minnow.
So they're a bent minnow, same twisty, weird spacco action.
That's it. That's it. A little bit different properties to the traditional bent minnow, but
And
basically the
70
same
mil.
thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
shorter, 70.
Couple of different sizes.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
And then a bunch more sick baits,
Yeah.
twitch style minnow, blades. I could go on, plus some pliers, all sorts of bits and pieces. So a huge pack,
Oh,
and
that's
half of them are
amazing.
next to me. One of the ones I did, which I took out last night, this is a paddle grub 2-inch. Now, what I did like about this, I didn't open it till last night. First of all, it's that super stretchy stuff,
The elastic. Yeah. Yeah. And so they're durable. They will last.
quite durable. They've got a big paddle tail for a small lure, and with a rippled body. If you want to shorten this lure up to take the correct hook size, just snapping one of those off would be perfect, or two or three. So I reckon they'll be really cool. I'm going to reach out to Rick from Force Lures and get him to send some so I can use some too.
You can sample the product. You're allowed to road test.
You reckon it'd be all right if they get their packets and there's just a couple missing?
Just one missing. It's okay.
Fair enough. It might happen.
It might happen.
Rick's been very generous with us, and I'm sure he'll help out with that. So yeah, so just to recap on that, there'll be two ways to win. So one will be as a newcomer to the Bream Fishing Project Collective over the next month. So I reckon your odds, we probably get 20 people, I guess, maybe. It's probably 1 in 20.
Yeah.
And then there's another way which you can come into the collective, and we'll talk about that there, how you can be involved and win the other half of the pack, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
So there you go. Good to see another Aussie lure brand.
It is indeed.
So yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. I reckon I'm cooked, Brett. What do you reckon?
Done?
I'm
I'm up early again tomorrow. I've got me good buddy Havo, his first day off work tomorrow, and he's given me orders. And that means I've got to be on the road by about probably 6 a.m., 6:30, I reckon.
Oh, very good.
For another round. So you could be delivered a bit more porn, maybe with a crab and a muss. I'm not promising anything because I'm telling you now I'm struggling. And I may just go perching and just forget about all that for a bit. So anyway, it's been another great chat, mate. I really look forward to them. Month away. Gee, we're going to have a lot more stuff to talk about.
I have to have a talk. And we do need to get some guests on. I do want to have a chat to some other people.
Be a good idea, I reckon.
So yeah. All right, mate. Thanks for coming on again. And yeah, I'll talk to you next month.
Grouse, mate. You go dicing.
I will go dicing. I look forward to it. All right.
Thanks, Stevie.
Cheers, mate. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.